Have you ever felt like your gut health is holding you back? And I'm not just talking about physically, but I'm talking about mentally and emotionally. Now, what if I told you that the way you think, the habits that you build, and your overall mindset could be just as important as your diet when it comes to healing your gut? In today's episode, I want to dive into the connection between your personal development and your gut health, because true healing isn't just about what you eat, but it is also about how you live, how you think, and grow. So stick around because this one might just change the way you approach your health journey. Hey friend, welcome to Gut Fix. Are you ready to finally get rid of those debilitating digestive symptoms? Do you catch yourself staying up late Googling things like, what can I eat? Or how do I stop a flare? Or maybe you're just lying awake wondering, how did this ever happen to me? I'm Wendy, and I've been exactly where you are, desperately searching for answers, but determined to find natural solutions. And like you, I was overwhelmed by all the conflicting information out there and unsure of what might really work for me. And so now in this podcast, I'm here to share with you what I've learned, how to listen to your body's signals, and uncover the common mistakes that might be standing in the way of your healing. So grab your favorite drink, pop in your earbuds, and let's dive into your health transformation together. Welcome back to another episode of Gut Fix. So today I wanted to dive into a topic that I really am passionate about, always have been, even before I got into the health passion that I have, right? And it's personal development and how personal growth and your mindset can also directly impact your health and more specifically your gut health. And so, like I said, I have been into personal development for a couple decades or more. And it started when I was in real estate and really dove into the personal development space. And, when I then fast forward a few years later, I was diagnosed with this IBD, and my mindset really did play a role in my healing journey because I sought out people that helped me with my mindset. Like, what is the worst? I would play the worst case scenario game. So what is the very worst thing that could happen? And then I would back out of it from there. And so that was just one piece of it. But it all started with, to me believing that I could heal, and also that this wasn't a lifetime for me. Even though the doctor said I would have this for the rest of my natural life, I didn't believe that to be true. And so that was the power of my mindset and the power that I was able to, and believe me, I had stumbles, I made mistakes, it took me a long time. I didn't always follow the advice because I thought maybe sometimes I knew better. But through trial and error, I was able to heal this and heal from it. So what I hope that you take away from today is that you will understand just how much your mindset plays in your health journey and also your personal development working on you. And, hopefully you'll come away with some practical strategies that you can implement right away in your healing journey. So there is, like we've talked about in past episodes, there is a connection between your mind and your gut. And just how does personal growth affect your digestion? Well, the gut-brain axis, how stressed you are, what your emotions are, what your mindset is at the time, all influence your digestion and influence inflammation. So if you are in a very negative place, if you are under a lot of emotional stress, there's, like we've talked about before, there's many kinds of stress, but I'm talking here about the emotional stress, your digestion is going to slow down. It's going to increase your inflammation, which, as we know, those are two things that are really triggers for IBD. And, limiting beliefs will also impact. So if you're saying things to yourself like, I'm always going to have this disease, it's going to be here for the rest of my life, nothing that I try works for me, that can keep you in a cycle of poor health. That can keep you stuck. Just keep going through that cycle of poor health. And so you have to kind of change that belief into No, I'm not. Like I said, when I had it, no, I'm not going to be sick. No, I'm not going to have this the rest of my life. And this will work for me. Okay. Maybe I tried something that didn't, but the next thing I try will work for me. And then it becomes consistency. And those daily habits that you do every day, I'm not just talking about your diet, but also your mindfulness, your managing of your stress, that personal growth, that is all going to create lasting gut health improvements. And so, start slow. When I'm working with clients, you always want to start slow. Pick up one habit and do it for 7 days. When you're comfortable with it, add another habit. And it could be just something that I've really been working on is being mindful, right? And that for me, being mindful is, and practicing mindfulness is really letting go of my cell phone and the electronics and being present. Whether it's walking the dogs and spending time with them, just enjoying the outdoors and enjoying them and laughing at their little antics outside, or, spending time with my husband and being present with him, or if I'm with my mother, spending time being present. That can really make a difference. And so that's a habit that I've picked up, and just keep working and building on those daily habits. Personal development, it does, and some of the trending personal development practices that can have an impact on your gut health are there's the power of small daily habits. That was inspired by Robin Sharma's work, and it talks about how your consistency in self-care, taking care of you, working on your hydration, always, that's a big thing. There's so many people that are walking around today that are just dehydrated. Meal planning, that takes out a lot of stress, and it also creates good, healthy eating habits. And then your mindfulness routines, that can also transform your gut health. Another personal development practice that's become very popular comes from Mel Robbins, and that is the let them theory. And that's about how you will release control and you can, reduce your stress around whether it's food choices or social situations, or even just about others' opinions of you. All of that can help improve your digestion. And then, try, and this is something that I have my clients do, not just for gut health, but for health overall, but specifically here in this episode, journal for your gut health. And so track your food, track your stress levels, track your emotions, and that can all help you to identify those triggers for you and also patterns. Right? And so when you start writing things down, you'll start to see a pattern and you'll start to see what triggers you and perhaps a flare. And then, I've talked about this, the mindfulness, but also the meditation. And there is a huge role for breath work and meditation. That is proven to calm down your nervous system, and that reduces overall stress, but it also reduces your gut inflammation. And that's crucial. Just deep breathing. When you start to feel yourself get anxious, and that happens to me sometimes several times during the day, and I just have to stop, close my eyes, and do a couple of deep breathing exercises. And instantaneously, I can feel that stress lowering and I can feel the calm coming over me. It's truly very powerful. And then, you want to work on, reframing any negative thoughts that you have. So we talked about this a little bit earlier, but when you shift from a mindset of, let's say, restriction to one of empowerment when you're dealing with IBD. So once again, don't be focusing on those things that are, limiting for you, or the things that you can't eat, or the things that you can't do, or whatever it is. Don't focus on that so much as, what are you doing to improve? And even if it's just those little step-by-step things that you're doing each day, how is that, focus on that more so than, the negative things. And get into those simple habits of your morning and your evening routines. So things like that will support your gut health, like making sure that you're drinking enough throughout the day. A good rule of thumb is half of your body weight in ounces is how much you should be drinking. Now, if you're exercising and sweating, or you live in, warmer climates like I do down here in Florida, you want to drink a little bit more than that, right? And focus on gratitude. So, there's so much to be grateful for that we forget about when we start focusing on that negative. When you can't be in a place of gratitude and fear or dread at the same time. So focus on gratitude more often. And then, just get moving a little bit more. It might just be that, if you're in an active flare, you really don't want to push your body and stress it out too much. But even if you just go for a 20 to 30 minute walk outside, now that the weather's starting to warm up, I think, around the country, just getting that walk in, 20 to 30 minutes can be huge. Also, you want to reflect on what you tell yourself about your past, because that also plays a big role in your healing. And, being really focused on your self-care and being kind to yourself, not beating yourself up for past mistakes, not, being very resilient. So, that's one thing, our mind can really play tricks, and it can be deep inside your subconscious mind. That's a whole nother topic, but it can be deep in your subconscious mind that you're not thinking about it, or at least you don't think you're thinking about it, but it's deep seated in there and it's coming out somehow. So, when you start working on your self-care, you start working on being kinder to yourself, focusing on gratitude, all of that can play a huge role in just helping your mindfulness. And so you also want to build on you want to have a growth-oriented support system behind you. So it's so important that you surround yourself with other people, whether it's getting into a group or a support group around your healing journey, or just people who uplift you. Get away from the people that are negative or bring you down. You really, your mind is so darn powerful in so many ways. It can really help you in your healing journey and help you get healing faster. One of the things that I noticed when I was in my healing journey is that I really a lot of times I had to be alone, just because it seemed like at the time everything around me or everybody was around me was negative. And so I spent a lot of time with just me and my dogs for a while. And when my husband was traveling at the time, and I would come home from work and just, from a stressful job, and just spend time with them and be peaceful with them. And that really did truly help me. Even today, when something is stressing me out, even if I'm just petting my dogs, it is so relaxing and forgetting about everything else. And so hopefully this has been helpful. I want to recap the big lessons from today's episode. And that is to, really be graceful, have grace with yourself, right? And focus on gratitude, focus on what's right in your life, and have the belief that you truly can heal, because I promise you can. And even if it's not a full-blown remission or what I would consider gone, you can get better than you are today. And a lot of that will shift with your mindset. Practice that journaling and writing down and when you're stressed out, what you're eating. And so find out what those triggers are for you. Practice the let them theory. Reframe your negative thoughts. All of these things can have a huge impact on your healing, your gut health, and your overall health and well-being, just overall. So I would love to hear your favorite takeaways if you want to share on social media. I'm on Facebook, but I'm also probably more prominent on LinkedIn. And if you are also want somebody who is challenged with IBD and you want to grab my IBD on the go guide, The link is in the show notes below, or you can go to bit.ly/IBD guide. That's bit.ly/IBD guide. And until next time, stay happy and stay healthy. Hey friend, I hope today's episode brought you some real value. If it did, would you take just 30 seconds to share it with a friend who might be struggling to get her gut in check? And if you're feeling extra generous, leave me a review on Apple. It absolutely lights me up knowing that this podcast is making a difference for you. All right, it's time for me to grab my protein shake and get my gut happy. I'll see you back here next Tuesday for another episode of Gut Fix. And until then, stay happy and stay healthy.